morning, everybody. My name is Marcia Nafee. I'm chair of the board of directors of the Thoroughbred Owners of California. And I'd like to welcome the owners and trainers here this morning for this, our first winter summit. This meeting came about because when we had our annual meeting at Del Mar over the summer, the people at our meeting requested that we, this is a tough year for us. We've got some important issues. Can we get together again? We make these meetings more weighted so that we can answer questions from the audience, and we're going to do that again. So I want to thank everybody for being here this morning and coming out to discuss some important issues that are facing the industry. I'll start with the introductions for the first panel. We've got Craig Cravel from the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, George Haynes from the LA Turf Club, Robert Hartman up north from Golden Gate Fields, Chris Corby from the California Association of Racing Fairs, and Tom Varela, the main staff person over at Scott Wink, and our moderator, Guy Lamoth, who you all know from the TOC.
Great, thanks Marcia. Welcome everybody. I'd like to thank our panelists for coming today. The purpose of this panel is to discuss the current status and issues facing our satellite network and discuss some possible long-term solutions with our panel. The format is I'd like to give a very quick presentation giving an overview of what the satellite network is and the issues that face it. And then we'll move to our panel discussion, and after that open it up for Q&A with the audience. The satellite network was established in the late 1980s, and two entities were formed, NotWink and Scott Wink. And the purpose of those entities, those organizations, was to provide the audio-visual link out to the satellites, and also the parimutuel system, the activity of taking wagers out there. I want to distinguish that with what it is, what Scott Wink and NotWink do not do. They do not participate in the local business at the satellite facility, the front of the house. So when people are coming in, the parking, the admissions, food and beverage, anything else going on there at a fairground, let's say, that's not what Scott Wink and NotWink do. So when the satellite system started in the late 1980s, and by the time NotWink was established in '92, you can see there were about 31 satellite facilities throughout California, and that's remained largely unchanged through today. And that despite the California population increasing about 29% over that period. Now, where did the satellites go? Because of a long-standing relationship that horse racing has had with the fairs, and the fairs are all about agriculture and so are horses, there was a natural fit there of placing the satellite facilities on state fairgrounds. And there were advantages to doing this at that time. One, the long-standing relationship, and the other thing is these were state facilities. There wasn't any cost to invest to put these out there. Well, there were minimal lower costs to get these up and run. The land was there, the space was there, so it was all good. Now, over time, there have been disadvantages that have emerged that we need to address going forward. One of them being these satellite locations weren't necessarily in the ideal locations. Okay, maybe they weren't in where the population is, or they're not in urban centers. So the other thing I'd like to note here is when the legalization of satellite wagering was done, there was also a 20-mile radius restriction put into place. And I believe the reason was that it was really to protect the live tracks. You didn't want a satellite facility setting up, 2 miles down the road from Santa Anita Park, Hollywood Park, Del Mar. So you wanted to maintain those businesses. So what did we see from the start in the late 1980s through 2001, which is before ADW came into effect? You see the bottom line, the blue line, that's the on-track handle. The red line here is the satellite network handle. So we saw growth through about the mid-1900s. Thereafter, essentially, we've remained flat on handle. Now, real quick on the economics of satellite wagering. The way ScotWink and NotWink are funded to pay for the parimutuel systems, to pay for the audio-visual systems, there's a percentage taken out of the handle that occurs at the satellite wagering site. For thoroughbred racing during the day, it's up to 2.5%. For the fairs and night racing, it's up to 6%. It may not be that exact figure, but that's what the law allows. In return, the satellite facility, each facility conduct the fairground, what do they get from it? They get a revenue stream in the form of a location fee, 2%. Okay? ScotWink and NotWink do not participate in that. Okay? That's what they get for operating the satellite wagering facility and handling bets. Now, it's also important to know that all the wagering that happens in the network, there's a lot of other contributions that the industry is benefiting from. There's money that goes to purses, the breeders, tracks, off-site stabling. Right now, we're running live Santa Anita. We've got off-site stabling at Hollywood Park. That's funded through this mechanism right here. And as you can see, here's a pie of how the money, a dollar is distributed. The orange is what's returned to bettors, about 80%. The rest is the takeout. Of that, you can see the part that goes to the tracks, purses. Here's that expense fund, the green one right there. That's the one that goes to fund. So let's note that that expense fund only comes from wagering at the satellite facilities for the most part. It doesn't come from ADW or anywhere else.